October 21, 2011 at 5:57 p.m. There was a 7.6, later downgraded to a 7.2 earthquake in the Kermadec Islands region. That was following the 6.1 in Japan, Hokkaido, Japan. And it was actually quite a large shake. As you can see, seismographs all around the world went quite dark for about 4 hours. There's a lot of movement across a lot of plates. Especially New Mexico, Missouri, USA, Oregon. Perhaps more movement there than the Kermadec Islands. South Dakota. Let's have a look at that. This is what it looked like in South Dakota. South Karori, New Zealand. This is what it looked like in South Karori, New Zealand. Okay, let's have a look at the Kermadec Islands themselves. As you can see, South Dakota, which is a long way from the Kermadec Islands, moved quite a lot. However, it doesn't seem quite as dark as it does on this display here, does it? Sunday, October 23rd, 2011, and at 10:41 AM UTC, there's a 7.2 earthquake in eastern Turkey. That was downgraded from a 7.4. And let's have a look at the seismographs. You can see this is another massive earthquake, not quite as big as the one in the Kermadec Islands 2 days earlier. This is about 3 hours worth of movement across most of the plates seen in most seismographs. This is a huge earthquake, so the pattern's back. We seem to be back into this period of high activity. And as to what these are aligning with and what objects are out there, well, I'm still looking at that. This is a large one. South Dakota. It looked like New Zealand. This is what it looked like on the Kermadec Islands. This is from Gun Hill, Barbados. As you can see, it's all very similar to what it looked like when the Kermadec Islands moved themselves. To eastern Turkey. Day before, this is an ordinary kind of day. And then the day before that, the 7.6 downgraded to 7.4. Either way, this was a massive earthquake, that one. I don't think it was a 7.6 even. Once upon a time, they probably would have called that an 8. So, yes, the big earthquakes are back. On October 21 at 5:57 p.m, this is the side of the Earth that was facing the Moon. If we look the other way, that's the position of the Moon in the sky. As you can see, the Moon is heading towards Leo, and has just come past Elenin a few days earlier, where Elenin was supposed to have been, and heading on towards Leo. On October 23rd at 10:41 AM, this is the side of the Earth that was facing the Moon, and this is the position of the Moon when viewed from the Earth. And as you can see, it's just past Leo, and we've got Mars just at the beginning of Leo. And this is the position of the Sun when viewed from the Earth on September 2nd, the day that the clocks all jumped by about 20 seconds. And as you can see, the Sun is partway through Leo. This is what the clock jump looked like from one clock relative to another, almost a 20-second jump. And when we look at the clocks compared to the internet time server, it was more than a 20-second jump. And this is the position of the Earth when viewed from the Sun on February 27, 2010, the date of the Chilean earthquake. It was an 8.8. As you can see, the Earth is in Leo in almost exactly the same position as the clock jump for September 2nd of this year. And of course we're getting close to the Jupiter alignment, and you see on this earthquake tides and alignments chart, big earthquakes do happen on this Sun-Earth-Jupiter alignment, such as November 15. There was obviously something big happened there in 2006, and again we had it February 27 in 2010. Get it to go on the date, it doesn't want to go on that date, but that was the date of the Chilean earthquake, and it was close to the Japan earthquake, but it wasn't really that alignment. And this is what we're coming up to on the 28th of this month, would be the Sun-Earth-Jupiter alignment. And to top that off, of course, we're getting close to the Earth-Moon-Jupiter alignment. And the Earth-Moon-Jupiter alignment is on the 27th. And although Elenin seemed to be a concern earlier on, I don't think it is anymore. The Elenin alignment would have been on November 22nd, but Elenin is not following that path anymore, and there seems to be other objects which are much more of concern than Elenin ever probably was. So let's try and find out where these other objects are. One thing we can look at is the daily change in sea levels, and we already know that in the northern Pacific it's dominated between the alignment of the Moon and Orion. When the Moon and Orion are in alignment, we get a peak, and when they're in opposition, we get a peak. However, we get these troughs coming in, and that for a couple of years has been lining up with the Moon-Elenin alignment. So the difference between high and low tides, when they come to a minimum on a daily basis, that was falling on this Moon-Elenin alignment almost perfectly. However, back in June, the minimum points were coming a little bit late. Then we got into August, and they're about on time again. And then we got into September, and they were coming early. And then beginning of October, they're on time again, and now it's very late. And as I've said before, I think this pretty much shows that Elenin is not the object, but something similar to Elenin. An object or objects in a similar trajectory to Elenin could be the cause of these dips, or these minimum points. And October 23rd is the most recent minimum point, and that was also the same for the buoy off the coast of Japan. October 23rd, which is 3 days late compared to where Elenin would have put it. So we're looking at something that's travelling not just 3 days behind Elenin, but in fact approximately 30 degrees behind Elenin, because this is based on the position of the Moon. We're looking at something that is 30 degrees behind Elenin. On October 23rd, the Moon was just passing Leo. Here's the Moon, and this is the date of the sea level change minimums. And as you can see, it's way past the position of Elenin in the sky, which is supposed to be somewhere in Gemini. So it seems like we've got an object or objects in the direction of Leo at this time. So if we plot this Earth-Moon alignment on a top-down view of the solar system, it looks something like this. The Earth is here, the Sun is here, the Moon is on this side of the Earth, and this is the line you could draw following the Earth-Moon alignment. Now to that, let's add in these other alignments we had. It looks something like this. Okay, and on this I've actually plotted a possible path of an object. It puts it rather closer, unfortunately. Maybe it would have to be further out, otherwise we're looking at a collision or passing over us or behind us. Very unlikely to have a collision, of course. But anyway, it looks like an object has been following us around the Sun, and at this time it's still inside of our orbit. So let's take the diagram back to just the sea level minimums, and onto that let's put the February 27 earthquake in Chile, 2010, and that's the Sun-Earth alignment going off somewhere towards Leo. And then let's add to that March 11 this year for Japan's earthquake, and then let's add in Kermadec Islands, which is actually the next biggest earthquake. It was a 7.6, and that was on July 6th. And that was an earthquake that didn't line up with anything else apart from Elenin at the time. And now let's add to that the clock speed jump that we had on September 2nd. As you'll see, that follows the Chilean earthquake for February 27, 2010 almost perfectly. Okay, and now we'll add into it these last two earthquakes. Again, the Kermadec Islands, this time was 7.4. The previous one was a 7.6. That's the biggest earthquake we've had since the previous Kermadec Islands earthquake. And then the 7.2 in Turkey, which is falling on the sea level minimum almost exactly. So I'd suggest we should be looking somewhere in the sky between this alignment here, which is pointing towards Mars on that date, and this alignment here, which is pointing towards the belly of Leo. So it's time to get out the telescope and start searching either side of the ecliptic between Mars and the belly of Leo. And we have to do that between about 2 AM and 5 AM. As well as that, MrCometWatch and several other YouTube users have already identified 2 potential comets between the Earth and the Sun. Whether they came around the Sun the same direction as the Earth or came in a retrograde orbit, I don't think there's anything in the comet rulebook that says they must go in an anti-clockwise direction around the Sun. But they could be the objects I've been tracking, or there could be others, but either way, it means there's definitely stuff out there to be seen. And yet another YouTube user has been photographing an object near the Sun again. So, of course, I've been out looking for this as well. It's October 23, 2011, just before 5 AM. What we have here is an image coming in from our telescope, which you can hardly see. But there it is. There's the scope. There's a webcam mounted on an eyepiece, piece of high-tech gaffer tape, and we're looking at the moon up there, and it's down here. Well, I'm sure it's possible to get it sharper. It's not too bad. Now 5:30 AM, getting pretty close to sunrise. The moon's looking a little bit reddish now. Not sure why that would be the case, but just the atmosphere is a little bit reddish. The sun coming up. Alright, this is my first successful doing this. I haven't focused a little bit before. We have a spot sensor there. 2011, 5:33 AM. We're looking at crescent of the moon. Just try and get in focus. What I'm going to do is I'll look for this object someone says they saw. It's the surface of the moon there. Dark surface. Something across there. No flashes there. Let's scan. Morning. Did you see the sunrise earlier? Earlier? Just a little bit earlier. There were rays. Oh, right. No, I didn't see that. I was probably too busy looking at the screen. It was amazing. I've really never seen a sunrise like that. Yeah. Just, you know, it's kind of perfect. The rays were just,
oh,
three of them were just even, and they were pink, kind of pinkish.
yeah.
Against the blue background.
Was that, the sky was still dark at that time?
Sorry?
What time of the morning was that?
It was just about 15 minutes ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm surprised it just disappeared. Anyway, it's great. I thought you must have seen it.
I might have had, but I was looking at something magnified, so I was probably looking here and not here.
Right.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'll have a look back at the video. I'm recording it, so
Oh, okay.
it might be on my video.
Yeah.
6:08 AM, Quiet Thailand. Telescope pointing east, mounted with an infrared camera, scanning the sky, left and right of east. As the sky passes in front of the dusk. The sun rises very soon. It's quite bright. This orb is photographed 22nd, apparently setting faster than the sun was setting. If it's an object out in space, such as a comet, it should be rising before the sun rises by now. But whether we can get it before our battery goes dead, it's out there at all. We'll soon find out. Clear sky. We should do this again tomorrow. It should rise earlier, we should have more battery. Can't guarantee a clear sky. Morning.
Had to bother you, but
Yeah.
I had to ask.
What am I doing? Well, someone filmed an orb setting on the 22nd, and it seemed to be setting faster than the sun was setting, so I'm trying to film it rising. Infrared camera set up, just in case it's only seen in infrared. So I'm just scanning left and right where it should be coming up, and it comes up. Wait, no, unless you look, you know. I probably won't find anything unless I do to see if I can.
That's exactly what I say about traveling.
Exactly.
You never know until you look. Cheers.
Alright, good morning.
Okay, so it's about 6:15 AM. Computer's shutting down, it's out of power. We're all set up here, looking east on the 25th of October. The sun's going to come up over here, and if that orb that was filmed on the 22nd, photographed on the 22nd, turns out to be a comma of a comet, we're hoping to capture it rising on this equipment here. We've got the infrared camera mounted to an eyepiece, which gives us a wider view of the sky. And yeah, we've just been scanning left and right towards the sunrise, which is over there. It hasn't happened yet. So I'll be out here, if it's clear skies, I'll be out here again tomorrow doing the same thing. It's quite a good spot. I'd rather be higher up when I'm perhaps looking down the river. That's the Mekong over here. If I could find a spot where the sunrise came up pretty much over the Mekong, that would be the best, because that's really low to the horizon. But the only place you could do that would be up the road, or up the river over here, where the Friendship Bridge is. Well, I don't think they let you across the bridge just to do film sunrises. So that's the bridge joining Thailand to Laos. Alright, as you can see, sun's about to come up. No sign of the orb, the comma of the comet. Maybe it's not there. Maybe battery ran out too soon. Who knows? Try again tomorrow. Let's go up here. Sound a bit higher. Okay, now let's zoom in. This is pretty fast, doesn't it?
Sound as well, so okay. This is an attempt to get Jupiter, the moons. Seem to have something there as well as Jupiter, but up it a little bit. So bright, bloody. August 24, 4:45 AM. August 24, 4:45 AM.
Lost what called them.
It's Jupiter. And then you can see Io, Europa, and Ganymede. It's October 26, 4:50 AM, and if I can get this going the right way, I just missed it. That was Mars. Very soon. It's Wednesday, 26th of October, 5 AM, and you're looking at Mars in the infrared. There's a bit of a flare when it gets to the edge of the lens, or the edge of the mirror. You actually don't have a lens. Oh no, we do, actually. This is going through an eyepiece lens. Seems to be flaring when we get to the edge of the lens. So we're going to start our sky survey from here. Basically tracking left and right of Mars. And as the sky goes past, we'll just film the sky. Oh, got something. Okay, we've got something here. Not sure what we've got. I can't see it in the sky. She's there. Okay, I'm gonna try and follow this thing. focusing on it. I'll stop the video here and restart it. Introduce it properly. Okay, so it's 5:12 AM. I've been tracking left and right across the sky, starting with Mars, and just having the sky pass by the camera. And I've got something I can't see, not with the naked eye anyway. So it's using the infrared camera here on the telescope with the eyepiece. I'm going to try and focus that a little bit better if it's possible. And I'm going out of focus here. Focus. A bit of a point of light, so it's better. Okay, it's probably a star. Yes. See if you can find stuff you can't see with your own eyes. As good as I can get the focusing. Oh, I've got something. So it's 5:13 AM. Camera's telescope's sitting at 35 degrees. We're in Nong Khai, Thailand. The angle on the telescope about 35 degrees. 5:13 AM. Move it into frame. It's quite bright. Can't see anything in the eyepiece, it's just black. Even looking through the viewfinder, there's nothing there in the viewfinder that I can see. A bit. Oh, look at the angle we're off the ecliptic. Probably about 10 degrees above the ecliptic, I'd say. To the left of the ecliptic. You're looking towards the horizon. It's probably just a star. Anyway, we got that. So I'm going to continue tracking from this point. Could be what we're looking for, or it could be just a star that I just can't see with my own eyes. If it's too faint, well, it proves it works, doesn't it? So we're going to start tracking right again. Which means we'll be leaving that one behind. Okay.
It's Wednesday, October 26th, 5:54 AM. This is our setup. It's now morning. Sun's not up, but it's already very bright. This thing completely blacked off now. Stopping some stray light getting into our sensor. And got the cap on now, but this is the angle pretty much to the object that I'd found. The only thing I'd found. Maybe it was the thing, maybe it's CW Elenin, I don't know. Have to look for it tomorrow morning. Get out a bit earlier. I'll look back in the same spot. Got stellarium there. Capture program. All works pretty good. I'm quite pleased with it. And try again tomorrow. Just a little point. I've marked these lines on here for various focusing. This is for without using any sort of lens. That's the focus point when I'm looking at the moon. This other red line is with the eyepiece in place, which gives me a wider field of view, and that's focused for the moon. As you can see, this other object is actually further out than the moon, so it's actually got an extra 1.5 to 2 millimeters there. And in fact, it's actually further out than Mars by the looks of it, because I think I had to pull out to get that thing in focus. So it would suggest it's slightly further away than Mars is, or maybe Might have to check against the star first, but we'll find a decent star and see what that focus is at. That'll have to be tomorrow. So where it is I found this morning is approximately at this position, right ascension 9 hours 50 minutes, declination 20 degrees. So if we have a quick look at that, there is Mars, and if we zoom in to where the telescope is pointing, there's a lot there, but at B as far across I guess it's 20 Leo. I don't think it goes down as far as NGC 3040. It's not really anything I would imagine my scope to pick up, maybe 48230. Anyway, basically right at the head here is where we were, and that's whatever that object was is around here, and I'll try and find it again in the morning.